Professional soccer is back in the United States after the National Women's Soccer League Challenge Cup got underway over the weekend. North Carolina Courage, the heavy favorites, picked up a victory, as did the Washington Spirit. For more, we welcome in Julie Foudy. Julie, so much soccer to talk about. Well, we got to talk about the moment of the weekend before that Washington-Chicago match. Casey Short, a black player for the Chicago Red Stars, overcome with emotion as she took a knee during the national anthem in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. Her white teammate, Julie Ertz, could be seen consoling her. It's an image that's gone viral. What was your reaction when you saw it play out live?
Tears, actually. It was, it was full humanity on display. Casey Short and her reaction to, all that's been going on, and Julie Ertz leaning over and just naturally grabbing hold of her and hugging her, and the two of them in tears. I was in tears. I know that there's been a ton of reaction from it, but I think it's the beauty of it is it's what we need in this moment. Is we need white people hugging black people and black people hugging white people, and us coming together and making this a better country. And I think that was a real moment and visual for the country to see.
Julie, we saw some players kneeling. We saw some players standing. What do you think about the decision by the NWSL to continue on with this national anthem tradition? I would just suggest it seems to be creating a potential conflict within dressing rooms.
Yeah, within locker rooms. Well, the thing is, and Sebastian, you know very well, that there aren't many leagues left that are actually playing national anthems before club matches. And I am all for national anthems being played before international matches. So when you're playing for the United States and you're playing for your national team, you should have your national anthem before that game. But I don't see the purpose of them playing it before every single club match. And if you look at those rosters, just look in that first game. You had Ireland, you have the United States, you have Brazil, you have players from Costa Rica, you have players from Canada. There's all these different countries represented. Maybe you do it for the final, or maybe you just do it for the opening game on bigger occasions. But I don't think you need to do the national anthem for every single club game going forward. NWSL was one of the last ones to hold on to this. I think MLS as well.
Julie, I wonder what you make of the format, because with Orlando Pride dropping out, we went from 9 teams to 8. Everybody is going to make this knockout round. Effectively, what you have here is a preseason.
You do, and they need it. You can see that. All of us would need it. I can't even imagine going from quarantine, pandemic, and no fields to play on and no space to train on to playing a month-long tournament. And so they all have 4 games. And as you said, Sebastian, with it being down to 8 teams, all 8 will go on to the quarterfinals. The interesting thing is they're playing for their seed, right? They're playing for where they will fall in that list and in that ranking as they go into the quarterfinals. But then it's a 1-game match, and it's you win or you go home. And so you never know, as we know in soccer, what's going to happen in that. But I do think it's a chance in 4 games for the players to get their legs. And you can see that they're going to need that. They get into the second half, and understandably so, as we're seeing in leagues across the world, you need a little time to get that fitness back.
Julie, you kind of hit at it there. What was your impression of the quality this weekend? There are obviously a lot of reasons why we might lower our expectations, but when folks point to the NWSL, they call it the best women's league in the world.
Yeah, I think you saw glimpses of it for sure. You see players like a Rose Lavelle and what she can do, and I thought she looked really good for Washington. You see a player like Lynn Williams consistently get in behind, Crystal Dunn. There's so much talent on that North Carolina team just in general, and so I think it's on full display. But I do think that it is going to take some time, and I don't think it's realistic for us, or I don't think anyone, to be saying, oh my gosh, these players look terrible and rusty. Well, of course they're going to look a little bit rusty. I was impressed actually with their fitness, given how little time they've had to actually get back into this. So I think it's going to take some time, but you definitely see glimpses. I thought Lindsey Horan did well in her game for Portland. You look across the board at some of the national team players, and what they're doing and making immediate impacts. It's too bad we don't have more of those national team players present, but I do think, given the circumstances, it looked really well.
You mentioned the national team players. I've been lamenting for the last couple of weeks about all the national team players that aren't going to be in this tournament. Yeah, Julie, when I found myself watching over the weekend, I didn't notice that they weren't there. What did you think of the national team players' absence? Did it stick out to you as much as you thought it might?
No, it doesn't stick out. But, I mean, there's something to be said when you've got Christen Press in the lineup and you've got Tobin Heath and what we know she can do on the ball. And when you've got a Megan Rapinoe on the ball and some of your biggest game-changing creative types of players that you're missing, I mean, that's going to leave a mark for sure. But having said that, I think it's important that we focus on the up-and-coming stars. I hope that Sophia Smith, for example, the #1 pick from Stanford University, who was put onto the Portland roster but didn't play because of an injury, I hope we get to see her. I hope we get to see more of Morgan Weaver, the #2 pick selected in the draft. So you've got a lot of really good young talent out there that I think we're going to get a glimpse at for sure in this month ahead.
Megan Rapinoe may not be playing in the NWSL Challenge Cup. She is on the latest edition of Laughter Permitted podcast with Julie Foudy. You can download it wherever you download your podcast. Megan talking about the NWSL tournament as well as U.S. Soccer's recent 180 on their own national anthem policy.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.